Good morning. I'm gonna sit. So I'm homeless and I'm in a shelter right now that is 20 women, and it is not staffed all of the time. So I'm just here to make a comment that we pretty much, as the women in the shelter, self-govern each other when staff is not around, and it works. So there's designated residential volunteers that are there when staff is not there, and the staff needs to be notified of any issues, then they are notified right away. So I'm assuming, Jenny Lynn, that that's sort of gonna be the relationship that will happen with this. And I just want to let folks know it works. It really does work, because I'm still here and alive, and I'm one of those residential volunteers. And the shelter is still operating. So hopefully maybe that might alleviate some fears for folks that are worried that there's not going to be 24/7 staff. And secondarily, I want to commend I have to read this, the Homeless Ministries Task Force coordinated efforts with the city. Really commendable, very well organized, very thorough, as opposed to just jumping in and plopping a few tents down and saying go for it. Their approach, or your approach, is it's pretty awesome. Thanks.
Thank you. That is one of the questions on the card, is will there be a self-governing component to the proposal? Would somebody like to speak to that?
So it'll be very much like Cynthia mentioned. So our safe parking program, we don't have staff here all night long, designated to the site. We do, work with the residents when we hear concerns, and Catholic Charities comes in to, if there needs to be some sort of behavior modification, we will come in and help with, that was not okay, let's talk about how we can do that differently. If there's mediation that needs to happen, Catholic Charities comes in and does all those things. We do random, we come by randomly so that people know that, we are going to be checking in and making sure everything's going smoothly. And then all of the residents also have that response line number that I mentioned that is attached to a Catholic Charities employee. The residents would have access to that. And what we found is very similar to what Cynthia has found, is the residents are extremely protective of the program, because this is a lifeline for them and they don't want to see it get shut down or see anybody abuse it. And so they're the first one to tell us when something's going on. And a great example is one of our safe parking sites that we had over in the more industrial area. We had people from outside that were not a part of the safe parking program, but happened to be homeless. They were coming in and vandalizing the portalet, and they were the first ones that called us and called the police and were protecting the property, because that was their home at that moment. And they were extremely wanting to make sure that they didn't lose that because of an outside situation coming in. So they will be the ones, they actually act as their own security of the property, because they do not want to see it go away, and it is their home for that moment. So there will be some self-governing to a degree, but one of the things that's important, again, that I mentioned earlier, is that they aren't the ones making the decisions or having to exit somebody if that happens, because really their focus needs to be on getting themselves out of homelessness. And that's what Catholic Charities, as a third party, can come in, and we can do those things so that there isn't that negativity and tension, and that person is staying focused on the housing component. So that is kind of how we envision it right now.